Hey everybody, it's Glenn back in this video with Confessions of an Ebayaholic, and this week on eBay I've scored the new Marvel Legends Spider-Man Noir for $15 shipped to me. Spider-Man Noir is joining Triton, Ulick, Yondu, Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Iron Man and House of M Spider-Man. In spite of this wave's packaging trumpeting Marvel Legends, these are not 6-inch scale, but 3 3/4 inch scale instead. A scale formerly known as Marvel Universe, then Marvel Infinite Series, and now I guess to combat dwindling momentum, rebranded as Marvel Legends. With the 6-inch Legends enjoying this last year or two a second golden age, I'm assuming Hasbro are hoping their smaller cousins will benefit by association from that. Of course in store the difference will be clear to see, but this uniform brand across scales might confuse some who buy online. Looking at the packaging back and reading the bio, Peter Parker dons a dark mask and takes down crime in his alternate dimension identity as Spider-Man Noir. And that alternate continuity they're speaking of there is one set in the 1930s Great Depression era. So here is Spider-Man Noir out of packaging. Looking at him, it probably won't surprise you that Noir is French for black. And the Marvel Noir continuity that this Spider-Man is from draws upon film noir, the genre of black and white crime dramas from the 1940s and 50s. At first I thought Spider-Man Noir was reusing the Ghost Rider body also used for the AIM Soldier and Star-Lord I believe, but unlike those, this Spider-Man Noir has a much more textured surface which conveys a heightened sense of the textile of the costume. Some research later and I discovered it actually utilizes the Battlefield Captain America released at the time of the first Captain America movie. And when a reuse leaves me scratching my head in that way, I give it credit. Plus Cap's wartime uniform lends Spider-Man Noir the appropriate vintage detailing such as the button-up tunic and whatnot. Looking at the head sculpt, I like the ridges of the mask that run over the top of the head, then over the mouth it's nicely sculpted to appear to be the creases of stretched fabric. Now in much art he seems to be wearing goggles, yet the lenses here seem to be part of the mask as they're not connected via strap round the back of the head, as per the packaging art. I kinda wish they'd have sculpted that detail in, as I just think it's kind of steampunky cool. For a period Spider-Man Noir was equipped with a gun, yet we get no accessory here, a shame as his hands that is inherited from Captain America are poised to hold one. I'm providing one here, not sure of its origins, but it's a good fit and I think he looks so much better posed with it, right? Now looking at his articulation, and the head rotates side to side, and this is his highest and lowest points of looking up and down. At the shoulder his arm rotates and it hinges up to slightly more than a right angle to the body, however I do wish it had hinged down more into a more natural vanilla pose. He has upper arm rotation followed by just a single jointed elbow, then at the wrist his hands rotate and these are also hinged moving down and then up. He has no waist rotation, but in lieu of that he has a rotating diaphragm joint, and then this also moves this far forward and then very slightly back. At the hips his legs move out to the side this much. You need to finagle the ball joint of the hip then to move his leg forward, and then finagle it again to move it slightly back. There's upper leg rotation followed by a double jointed knee, then there's rotation there at the top of the boot, and at the ankle his feet are hinged moving backwards and forwards, plus he has that ankle rocker pivot that I love. And taking advantage of that ankle pivot, this is him stood at his widest stance possible, still with both feet flat on the floor. So all things considered, and the first ever Spider-Man Noir action figure out of the gate, it's pretty good. And what with Hasbro having recently at this scale taking away a bunch of articulation, I'm glad now they're slapping the Marvel Legends brand to it that it's got articulation worthy of that. However, I don't know if that articulation is simply a happy byproduct of the body Hasbro have chose to reuse here, or more importantly, if it represents a commitment to a certain level of articulation in this line at this scale moving forwards. But then really, as a committed 6-inch scale collector, I'm crossing my fingers for a 6-inch Marvel Legends version of Spider-Man Noir, which frankly I wouldn't be surprised if we see, eyeing up the Marvel Legends Ghost Rider from the Rhino Bath wave, and I can see this being an easy conversion into Spider-Man Noir should Hasbro want to save a penny or two. Anyway, for a closer look at that Ghost Rider, click the video on the left. Alternatively, if you missed the previous episode of Confessions of an Ebayaholic, click the video on the right as I compare the knockoff Deadpool that's floating around eBay with Hasbro's legit version. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.